You mentioned this earlier, and clearly, the Trilogy of Change has its primary focus on impacting the young African American male, with your emphasis on the Sigma Beta Club and our collegiate Sigma brothers. Now, describe how your recently held Sigma Week on Capitol Hill and the increased investment in mentoring is making a difference.
You know, Steve, when you use the phrase trilogy of change, one of the things I think the membership is learning about me, I love words. I tend to believe words matter. And when you package them around the trilogy of change and you connect it to the Sigma Beta Club, I kind of want to connect the dots, if you don't mind. Because here's what we know. We know that if a young person is experiencing positive images, having the experience of individuals showing love and appreciation for them, they tend to perform better. We also know that we are very blessed to have a 68-year-old organization called the Sigma Beta Club. What we looked to see was how could we really magnify the impact of our Sigma Beta Club. And so what we started having conversation with Janabu about was, how do we look at this young kid? How do we pour love into this young kid? How do we coach, develop, nurture, and mentor this young kid and transform his life, toward a better experience? Comma, but don't stop there. How do we now become very intentional on helping this young man become a college student, but also become a member of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity? Because we started that nurturing and developing as a Sigma Beta Club. And now we still have this young man as a college student, and now we're coaching and developing this young man as a member of Phi Beta Sigma during his collegiate years. But again, we don't stop there. And now that we've introduced him to something called the Sigma Executive Leadership Council, he knows that since he's connected with Sigma, Phi Beta Sigma is going to be committed to him on helping identify gainful employment for him. And so as he come out of college, we're going to do everything we can to supply employment for him. So now, gainfully employed, he's financially literate, he's coming into the community a better man with good intentions on how he can be a great servant leader. And so all of a sudden, that young Sigma Beta Club member from 10, 12 years old who transitioned to a college student and a member of the fraternity who is now transitioned into a young alumni who is gainfully employed, understands financial literacy, understands being a servant leader, understands faith and how he makes a connection on developing family, is going to have a huge positive impact on the African American community and the larger community as a whole. And it all started with that Sigma Beta Club. And so that's the trilogy of change.